Well. It is Friday. It is time for us to get this party started. I'm so excited to be here with you all, and we have a treat. But let's start with this. I want to talk about how can you use generative AI in writing your content. Your content can be a speech, it can be a sermon, it can be any kind of presentation, it can be live streaming, it can be recorded video. It can be written content, blog posts, social media. How can this technology that has taken the world by storm help you do that effectively? That's what we're going to dig into in this third session of the month of AI. And I'm so excited because I don't have to be the one to tell you all this stuff. We have with us this evening somebody who is close to me that I have an enormous amount of respect for. He is not a stranger to this channel, to Equip Institute. He is not a stranger to this community. He is an engineering technologist, a creative entrepreneur. He is definitely driven by discovery and focused on purpose. He's a purpose driven leader, a thought leader, creator, an advocate. And he focuses his time on building trust and confidence and building his community. He sent out something this week to his community talking about that. So maybe he'll give you some hints. But working with individuals and organizations providing technology insights and consulting to achieve their business objectives. I want you all to put your hands together with and invite onto the stage none other than the phenomenal James Hicks.
Listen, I was
Hey,
trying to figure
sir.
who you was talking about. Listen, y'all get on your feet.
Hey,
Get on
brother.
your. I, I thought it was Steve Harvey bringing the kings of comedy. I said, go. I'm not mad at that. Ain't nothing wrong with being right. Florence, how you
N-
doing? How you
I'm
doing?
doing good. I'm doing good. So glad to have you here. It's been a minute. It's been a little while since you've been here with us, but I'm glad to have you in the building. Glad
Mm,
always. I'm always glad to
appreciate
talk to you as I text you and ask you simple questions because I don't be knowing how to do stuff.
you. So it's all good, and I just make it up. I just make up some things, they seem to work out half the time. It's all good.
And but I want to start with you because I want to have you talk about something that I've heard you say multiple times and I think is so appropriate. And you've said AI is not new. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be intimidated by the technology. Respect it, but leverage it for your own good. Can
Right.
you give us a little, what does that mean? Like, how this is the perfect time for that. You say it so much.
Well, so first of all, again, I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to come and hang out with your community. I see some folks in the audience that I recognize. Lord have mercy, Yolanda is there, and I still got this darn cam link right here. I got to get this mailed off to her.
Ooh,
Okay, let me get back locked in. Every day, that statement though continues to get more and more relevant, prevalent, and more appropriate. Right, because folks from a personal perspective, folks from a professional perspective, regardless of whatever industry that you're in, using large language models, using generative AI, using a algorithm to help you do the thing is no longer a want, starting to become more of a need and becoming more of a value added and value assisted tool in everyone's toolbox. Now, when I started saying about understand it, use it, leverage it, but don't be afraid of it. It's because it's not going away. It's only becoming more prevalent. And if you want to be one of the subject matter experts, if you want to be one of those trusted advisors, if you want to be someone who was looked at as a stakeholder in knowledge for where technology is going, where information is going, you have to understand what is out there today, and you have to understand the tools that are being put in front of you and being put in front of, again, from a professional perspective, what's being put in front of your clients and your prospects. So always be learning and always stay just in front of the curve so you can bring that value to whomever you're talking to. And that's kind of the whole crux of when I always say, one, get out of your own way, and two, understand technology, leverage the technology, and don't be afraid of it.
Right. Well, we gonna
See,
ask some.
I can't come on nobody's show and not say nothing. Lord have mercy. Yeah,
Well, we gonna have you answering
just talking.
questions today.
Okay.
We're gonna have you answering questions. Or what we want to do a little bit here is say hello to some folks who are with us this evening. Hopefully, I hit the right buttons. If I hit the wrong buttons, y'all forgive me, but I'm gonna try to hit the right ones. Uh, and of course, I'm gonna start with our moderator. Good evening, Frank Jackson. Glad to have you not only in the stream with us, but you're also in the building with us in the lounge. Those who know. Hello, Miss Inanea. Glad to have you here with us, and get your questions ready. James can definitely answer them. And hello, Yolanda from
Mm.
Ravens Talk with Yolanda. She's out there
I'm in
doing her
trouble.
thing, being really tremendously successful with her channel and with the content that she's putting out. And so I'm want to get into just a little bit about this topic. And as others join, we'll come back and chat. Y'all ask questions. James is more than qualified to answer your questions, and he will do so. It will not be me tonight. It's gonna be him answering your
It's going to
questions.
be us. No, I mean it'll be
I'm
a
over here
session
taking
of
notes.
discovery. Okay, it'll be a session. I'm recording, so I'm gonna replay it back in a couple hours and see what in the world it is I told folks. But no, it's going to be fun, right?
Yeah. So let's get started. I've as I was preparing, I shared with you a little bit about the run of show, and there are a few use cases, and I would love to know which of these you use the most, and how you use them, and then we're going to dig into them a little bit in detail individually. But
Okay.
blog post or newsletter articles, how do you use generative AI in that workflow for yourself? This week, you put out a phenomenal newsletter about this whole live streaming um, business that we're in.
Thank you.
Social media, you do this really well. And then maybe some of, if you use it for video script writing, like talk about
Mm,
those
yeah.
a
So
little bit.
I came up in content creation, digital publishing on the blogging side, right? So I'm pretty deep with the whole Automatic and WordPress community. Shouts out to Matt Mullenweg. Shouts out to all the folks from Automatic and things like that. That's where I started. So, and I preface with all that is because now I've definitely pivoted. I very rarely write a blog post. I very rarely put a blog post about something, some topic out on hicksnewmedia.com. That really is now just a culmination of some, but I can't use these big words. Hold on, it's Friday. Summarization of all of my
You
aggregated
better
content
ask
from all
Chat
my social.
GPT how to say it.
I can't use any big words now. So I'm really just collating and curating all of my social content and putting it on that side. But from the newsletter side, and again, I appreciate the flowers on the newsletter post. I will use a prompt in one of the tools, so either a Perplexity.ai, a ChatGPT, of Voila, one of those many tools that I use, and have it start the conversation for me. It'll kind of put that framework around in terms of, I say I want to talk about X, Y, and Z in terms of bullet points, and it'll put a framework out for me, and then I'll fill everything else in. So it's allowing me to make sure I have an opening, make sure I have a hook, make sure I have calls to action, and make sure I have kind of a summary. It based on the subject matter that I want to express to my audience in the newsletter. I don't take what it gives me and use that as 100% of the end result. I probably use about 30-40% of what a chat GPT spits out if I give it a prompt about a specific topic. And then I do all of my, as you can tell when you read it, a lot of my own ad libbing and a lot of my own flair and my own personality is in every post that I put out.
Awesome. And what about your social media content? And can we define that a little bit? What we mean, because sometimes we're not always clear what we mean when we say social media content creation. What how would you define
For
that for folks?
Yeah, for me, it's all of the audio and all the video content that I put out to the community. So regardless, again, of the platform that it goes to. So more business centric pieces will go up primarily on LinkedIn and YouTube. More community ask me anything, more community engaging types of content will go out on obviously YouTube or an Instagram reel or a TikTok or something of that nature. So I say all of that as well because not everything goes everywhere. There's a specific twist that I'll put on a particular piece of content that needs to go to a LinkedIn audience. There's a specific twist that I'll put on a post that goes on a TikTok. It's time sensitive. It's got a lot of lights flashing. It's got a lot of big words. It's got a lot of mute. Right? It's got that hook that 30, 60, 90-second audience is looking for on that particular platform. So that's me from a social media content and distribution.
What so great. You said audio and video. How are you using generative AI tools to streamline your workflow producing or creating that material? And which tools are you using that
Oh,
that
listen,
help
for
you
me,
streamline your workflow,
yeah,
right? Get that friction
yeah,
out of the way, help you get that, your story sorted, whatever that is that you're putting out. How do you use what do you use
yeah.
and
I
how do you
laugh
use
when you
them?
say I laugh in all respect when you ask me what tools that I use because that list evolves. That list
Okay.
continues to change, and some folks get kicked off the list, some folks get added on the list, and I've told a number of startups and a number of CIOs or CEOs and founders that their baby is ugly.
Oh
And that
boy.
right right so and again it's that but it's that conversation that I have because I'm advocating for them and for what they're looking to build, and I'm
Mhm.
coming at it from a creator, a digital professional's perspective and saying this is what we're looking for and this is what our expectations are. You saw me, I put a text out earlier today in our inner circle group. I was talking with the founder from a particular generative AI platform and told him, listen, what you're doing so far is pretty nice, but if you did X, Y, and Z, that's what we're really looking for. We're really looking for tools and platforms that eliminate steps within our workflow. And if you
Mhm.
can do this extra thing that no one else out there is really focusing on or doing just yet, you can really capture a market. So uh, I'm not going to name that particular company,
No.
but again,
No, we're
that's the
not.
kind of conversations that I have, right, with
Right.
a lot of these, whether these generative AI startups and things of that nature.
Okay.
Let's see,
Great.
who can I name though? I can name. You guys all know that I've used Opus, so I use Opus Clip quite a bit. And I like to have three when it comes to the same type of or similar types of functionality. So there's Opus Clip, there's Choppity, and
Oh, I'm
then
not familiar
there's
with Choppity. Or is that
yeah,
one that you put out you told me about and I didn't go
I
look
told you
at
about
it.
it, but you didn't pay it.
Okay.
See,
I was asleep that day.
so Choppity is a young couple based out of the UK, and they have some very interesting functionality in terms of what they're looking at deploying for smart clips, smart
Mhm.
shorts.
Mhm.
Definitely take a look at them. Choppity dot. I think it's got co or something of that nature. But and then there's something like a Taja.ai, which is
Mhm.
another great platform that will actually take your video from a YouTube channel and it will extract the chapters, it will extract tags, it will create the description for you. They now do shorts, they now do clips, they now do better thumbnails than they now do those very clickable and very engaging looking thumbnails.
Okay.
I'll put it that way. That don't
Okay.
look like anything else, but kind of make you have that moment of I want to check this out. So yeah, so I would say Taja.ai, Choppity, and Opus Clip.
Okay.
I
I
got
know
more,
you
but
I
I'm just
know
gonna
you
put
and I
them out
talked
there.
about a week ago, we talked about one that I'm kind of playing with a little bit, testing a little bit. Are you using it? It starts with the M. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no. I'll mention them too, and there are one that I have told that the baby
They
was
baby
ugly.
ugly.
I did tell it, but again, so I'm back in their corner talking to David and Daniel, the founders. So that's Menvo, right?
Mhm.
Menvo is a phenomenal tool that again that is looking at not just doing clips and not just doing shorts, but also doing scheduling, but also doing transcription. So I mean, it's almost a lot of some of these platforms are looking at taking all these subscriptions that we have as creators and kind of consolidating some of that activity into just one. So you
So
think
that
of a
reduces your
descript,
time.
definitely that's in that
It
we'll never get the
reduces
time back.
it right. The one thing we can't get back, time. So it reduces when you use these if they're working well, it reduces your time investment to get your output. Productivity is about your output, right?
Yeah.
So it does that. It reduces your financial investment because you're not paying for 5 subscriptions, you're maybe paying for 1, maybe
And
2.
that's a weird catch 22 though, right there. And
Mhm.
I'm gonna go on that after. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No,
that's a
no, no,
interesting
please,
catch 20.
this is a conversation, and I
Yeah.
want the community to hear this conversation because these are thoughts that we may be having on our own, and we're not talking it out with anybody.
Right. I mean, so I've stolen the phrase, not coined the phrase. I've stolen the phrase from the CEO of Mighty Networks. And one thing
Mhm.
that she has said that has stuck with me for a long time is people pay attention to what they pay for.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So lifetime deals are great, phenomenal, fantastic. Ecamm Live started out as a lifetime
A
deal
lifetime
back in the
deal.
day.
Mhm. Mhm.
Zapier started out as a lifetime deal. So there's a couple of them. There's a few that have gone and been wildly successful. However, don't get into this startup SaaS world of early stage companies if you're not ready to have some stress in your life. Because again, we're investing in a lot of these companies who are barely off the ground, barely getting off the ground, barely have any infrastructure in place. Yes,
Mhm.
it's good to pay the $249 and you have it for a lifetime. However, I've
There's
seen
some
some,
risk.
right? You've seen as well that after
Mhm.
6 months, 8 months, a year, that these companies are either going down and going under or having some financial issues. We see one right now that many of us are
Mhm.
invested in that
Mhm.
is going through some issues.
Mhm.
So sometimes that subscription of a Zoom for what is it, $140 a year
Mhm.
might be worth it. Zoom
Right.
messed around and won, right? When the world stopped, Zoom won. I mean, no one talks
Mhm.
about Google Meet, no one talks about GoToMeeting or
Or
WebEx. No one
WebEx
talks
or
about all that other stuff,
there are a number of them, and not that they're
right?
bad, right? It's not that they're
True.
bad.
They're all phenomenal platforms,
Yeah,
but who won? But
absolutely.
Zoom won, and there's other platforms like that as well. So just be aware of what you're getting yourself into if you want to start investing in early stage startup SaaS companies, software as a service companies.
So
Uh, th-
I'm not even just thinking of these early SaaS companies, right? Software as
mm,
a service. I'm thinking of as I was looking at some of these and for the community when I'll say for me when I'm doing the evaluations and I'm doing, the whole pro and con list. Uh what if I can use a Descript
mhm.
and get which is stable now, but that's not to say that it could be stable for a long time and still go under. Let's just be very
Right.
clear.
Yeah.
Stable and reduce some other like the example that I think of is because I was aware of and used Otter.ai early on. But if Otter now, I don't need to use Otter because I can get the transcription through a Descript or Opus Clip or
Hmm.
whatever, Menvo, because they're doing transcription, a cap show. They can take that audio, video, and do the transcription for me. So I don't need to use the Otter.ai for that
Yeah. So
purpose.
think about it, because transcriptions, when it first became prevalent, was a premium service offering.
Mhm.
Now it's table stakes.
Now it's table stakes.
Now it's an expectation from us, rightfully so, the end
Mhm.
users, the consumers, the subscribers, and things of that nature. So
Mhm.
if you don't have that, you're going to lose. The company's going to lose out on business because we now expect that, and
Right.
that's actually a good thing. That's a good thing for competition. It's a good thing for business. But again, now we no longer are looking at that as something that is an add-on, as something that we bolt on. That's a checkbox that needs to be there for some of
Mhm.
these uh, creation tools, for some of these business tools, for some of these productivity tools and things of that nature. So that's a good point, and I like the fact that you mentioned Otter because listen, Otter is dope, still is
And
Descript.
it's yeah,
You
it
know,
is, and it was around for a long time.
hmm
That and people didn't think of it as AI,
yeah,
right? They
right.
didn't think of it as AI, but okay, I'm not gonna go down that road.
Don't get yourself in
But
trouble. Listen, you're already in trouble because Frank told you you got a question, and I just see
I
him popping
know
stuff.
I'm coming
Uh,
to it. I'm coming
Listen,
to it.
hey,
I'm
y'all don't
coming.
know before the show
Look. I
started.
used my
No,
eCam and started the question.
yeah, hey, y'all, before we started, Frank was telling Florence exactly, look, stay on your P's and Q's, and I made sure not to get in trouble too. Well, okay, let me sit back straight up again. Y'all ain't never gonna let
He
me back on
was
this show.
he was telling me to
Yeah,
stay on my P's and Q's.
he sure did, sure did.
But let's get this question in because it is a phenomenal question and there's a lot to dig into it. And the question comes from Yolanda. Have either of you used Taja AI, which we dig in, for content optimization,
Yeah,
which there's a lot there to unpack? If so, what were your thoughts? Thanks for this live stream. So Taja.ai, I'm going to let you go for it for a minute, sir, because
yeah.
this is one that you talk about
So
and
listen,
you brought to the inner
Ibrahim
circle.
and yeah, Ibrahim is out there. Ibrahim is the CEO for Taja. He gets it. He comes from content creation, content delivery from like the sports and media entertainment world, and what they are building is I can't give away some of the things that he and I talked about a couple of days ago, but what they are building is right in line with what I have been talking about with Florence thus far. Some tools that will, again, ease that workflow, make what we do from a not a content curation perspective, but from a content delivery perspective, that much easier, right? Because we're doing the hard thing right now. We're doing the video, we're recording, we're streaming, we're having the conversation. But after that, that administrative piece of being able to push it out to varying channels to make it look like our own, to make it appeal and resonate from a thumbnail perspective, from a caption perspective, all of those things, stay tuned. Stay tuned. And if you haven't got back to a LTD kind of conversation, if you missed out, okay, I'm gonna get in trouble. And
You
if
about
you
to get in
missed out,
trouble.
okay, I go say,
Go ahead. Come on
so
with it. Come on with
I'm
it.
not
Come
gonna
on
do it.
with it.
I don't want to break any
No,
trust.
come on in.
Taj is
Come
the
on.
truth. No, I'll just say this. Taj is the truth. Keep watching their website. Keep watching what they're doing because they're rolling out some new functionality in next week, and they've got some announcements coming actually next month for kind of the general users that really help with doing the thing, what we do.
Okay.
Yolanda, call me after this stream, and I'll tell you what's jumping off.
So let's dig into this. You know, we said about it's about helping you create and get insight. So I went through a 21-day challenges. I told the community I went through this and I did get some insight in terms of the way I was thinking about using some of these gener some of these AI tools.
Hmm.
And the and also it showed me how I can use some of it to get insight, even pulling out of what I've done and push it to a different form. The one that I used for that 21-day trial is CapShow.
Okay,
And they had
that was
the,
nice.
the tool has it has an opinion. It
Yeah.
comes with the point of view about how it's to work and what you use it for. So
Hmm.
it's a very opinionated piece of software. Nothing wrong with that. But what it did for me was here's a tip. And video first or audio first. I've learned when I want to write, sit down and record what I want to write, then run that through an AI tool that can read it, help me get insights out of it, summarize it, do a lot of other stuff, and then produce the written content out of that. So the way I
Yeah.
was trained versus what I've learned
Mm.
was write your blog post, write your social media, do your graphics for your social media. So this is flipping that on its head. Like literally, it's turning it upside down. But record it first.
Yeah.
And sometimes what I'll do is just take my iPad or my phone, turn on the little recorder in there because you just need an audio file. I don't even need the
Hmm.
video. I really just literally need the audio file. And I talk out what that topic is and the points that I want to make. And then I run it through a Menvo or Descript or whatever, get it to transcribe it, and then take that and run it through Perplexity or um, Voila or whichever I'm going to use that
Hmm.
day to get some insights out of what I said so that I can now turn that into a blog post. I can turn it into content I share with my community. I can turn it into LinkedIn posts, which is or YouTube. So for me, social media, I use LinkedIn and I use YouTube. I don't actually use Facebook or I have an X account, but I don't really post there much. Just like I have an Instagram. I don't think I've ever posted anything on Instagram ever, not one time. So
Why is that? So on the, and I'll never call it X. I'm old school Twitter. Let me ask you about Twitter. Why is that? Because this could get contentious. Just this could be a really good debate. So let me ask you,
mhm.
why do you not use Twitter?
Um, I think for a while I started using it, and it started to feel like too much of a time suck for me.
So it was doing its job.
And I was
The
like,
plat
"This is
the,
this."
the
Yeah, it
platform
was
was doing
doing what
its
it
job.
was designed to do, but I was like,
Okay.
nope." I might use because there are a couple of there's one company that I'm, as you know, I'm very invested in. That's where they post their updates when they're going to put something else new out. They put it on
Yeah.
X. They don't put it anyplace else.
Yeah.
Or put it on Twitter, and that's Evernote. You know, I'm a heavy Evernote
Hmm.
user, have been using it since 2008, and the product manager posts on Evernote any new feature, any upgrade, any change, ideas that they're and by the time he posted, it's pretty much baked in at that point. It's a done deal by the time he said something, and that's where he posts that to the community, and a lot of companies we know will use Twitter as a form of customer service or what I call a service desk. That's it's many of
Yeah.
them will use
Yeah.
Twitter as an online service desk where they essentially take tickets in and respond back to their customer base. So I occasionally I'll put something out there. I just hadn't really
And
gone
I
back.
appreciate that. Right. The challenge with Twitter though is so it's
Oh,
still the
good
water cooler.
question.
It's still the water cooler location and destination. The
Mhm.
challenge with it though is you have to actively curate your timeline, because if you mess around and don't, and you just take the feed, if you just take the old Twitter fire hose as it used to be called back in the day, you're going to get very very skewed responses and very skewed comment. But it's not going to be what you really want. It's just going to be a whole bunch of spaghetti thrown against the
Nonsense.
wall, right?
Yeah,
So
and
you
that's
have
irritating.
to curate. Yeah, so you definitely have to curate the conversations, curate your stream, curate your timeline, and that literally is probably my most engaged and largest audience. That's where I
Okay.
get a lot of the content ideas from Twitter. But again, I've spent a lot. I've spent years right curating my timeline and curating that whole environment to make sure that I don't see anything too off kilter that allows me or causes me to get put into a time sink. So that's just interesting. It's just I wanted to hear your perspective on that, but that's
Okay.
good to know. That's good to know.
Hey, hey, Yolanda, you have the link to come into the lounge if you want to come in.
Oh, shoot, you're not about to
You
get
don't
on
have to come.
camera.
And I'm not gonna make you get on camera, but if
Oh,
you
she
want to
gonna
get
have
on
to.
camera, you can. If you want to come into the lounge and chat with us, please feel free to do so. But you ask another question, and you're really trying to. To me, this is like I want to really understand this because if you're making a business decision and you're using this time, so this is a really wise time way to use your time. What would be a suggested workaround for Taja's inability to optimize ideas slash content before it is uploaded? Before it is uploaded, because she says she prefaced that with that Taja is one thing about Taja is that the content must be created first before optimization can be utilized. So it's after the fact. It's the stuff that when I first started, it was like, go in, create your chapters, refine your description, put your tags in, update your hashtags. You may even want to rename your video a little bit. Um, Even sometimes replace your thumbnail. Um, but that's
Yeah,
after it's been created.
so I'm trying to wrap my head around that. So yeah, Yolanda,
You
if
want
you
me to put
could
it
come
back up?
online because you want to use Taja to optimize. One thing about Taja is that the content must be created before optimization can be utilized. Right. You have to have it before you can feed it to Taja. That's how I'm reading into that. What
Hmm.
would be a suggested workaround for Taja's inability to optimize before it is? Hmm. Put it back up. I'm gonna take a screenshot and I'm gonna send it to Ibrahim. I'm gonna send it.
you
Yeah,
you do it. You telling people baby ugly right in the middle of the thing.
yeah. I'm a highlight him. He's in New York right now. So what is it? It's 7 o'clock.
It's 7 o'clock. You
All right.
you want me to, I'll grab that and give it to you as well.
Yeah, please, because I think I'm going to make sure, and I don't want to assume when I position it to them, because again they iterate and they listen to the community. So if it's something that's valid and could be used across the entire community, then it could be deployed. But I want to make sure I get it right. So yeah, we'll just do that. Yeah, I took
Okay.
a screenshot of the comments.
Okay.
That's a good one though. That's
Great.
a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one. And everybody, this is community value right here. You are seeing it and experiencing it in that um we have a community member who is looking for answer to address something in her content creation. And
Hmm.
it's timely, but here's the key. We've got access to someone who can do something about it.
So check this out. So a couple of days ago, I talked with Ibrahim about just a specific use case that I want, and I don't know if this is what you're talking about, Yolanda, as well. An automation piece. Think about after this stream is over right now at the bottom of the hour, whenever 2 hours from now, Taja sees that on Florence's YouTube channel, there's a new live stream. Boom, it automatically pulls it into Taja, and then it starts doing a piece of the optimization. It starts creating the chapters. It starts creating a description, a new title. It spits out 3 or 6 high level thumbnails as well. Then you have a brand kit, so you can actually put in your. So Yolanda, you can put in your purple and your black. You can put in your colors and your fonts and things of that nature. But all of that, a lot of that work would already be done because Taja could pull that information automatically after you're done streaming. So after that, the SD and the HD files have been actually encoded and transcoded on the YouTube. You log
Not
into
he
Taja and
did
it's
not
already
say
there.
on the YouTube. If that ain't an old
Down.
man
Oh,
talking.
see,
On the YouTube.
what?
On
Please,
the
I didn't say
YouTube.
on the
On the
Facebook.
YouTube. On I
I need
can't
to
with
go now.
him. I can't with him. Y'all,
Hi,
Yolanda,
hi.
welcome to the lounge. She is definitely one of
The
the members
clock
of the
start.
community. If you want to expound and let me know if you want to come on camera, let me know. I will certainly throw put up a way for you to have you on the camera with us. But you don't have to. You can just come off mute and chat and give James a little bit more background
Come
on
on
what
over
you're
here
trying to
on the
do.
YouTube. Come on over here on the
You
YouTube.
talking about come on the YouTube.
So hopefully that use case that I just talked about fits the need. But again, I don't want to assume. But that's literally the conversation I had with Ibrahim a couple of days ago about,
Uh-huh.
again, something that no one else is doing, but eliminating steps within the workflow, making what it is we do that much more timely and relevant. Because again, I can do the hard part of doing the stream and having a conversation, but that administrative piece where much of that is repetitive, you already do that. Would love if you, as the platform that I'm paying for or that I'm subscribed for or that I have bought, do that piece right there. And then let me go in and make my last 5 to 10% edits, right? Do some reframing, put a call to action or put an end screen or do some of that stuff. Then let me do that and then push it out.
Okay, this is not going to be perfect. I'm going to try to do this.
Building scenes on the fly. That's what you're doing.
I'm trying to build a scene on the fly
Bring
so
that
this
camera
young lady, so
overlay.
this woman can get on here with us. We're going to make her guest 3 and I'm going to put her. Look at her. She getting out
Come on
primped
now.
and
Come
proper.
on now. You know,
Really?
let me put my
She really
glasses
doing
on.
this. She really doing this.
Hold on.
She getting
Put my
all primped and
glasses on.
proper.
Ooh, there we go.
Hey,
Make it look
welcome to the
like I'm somewhat
stream.
studious.
Let me bring you here and then I'll go you. See, I'm trying to do this eCam thing, y'all. There we go. Hey, hey everybody, this is Yolanda. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to join the stream with the two powerhouses that are, handling this perfect, timely topic. So thank you for the opportunity.
So you
Appreciate it. Look at you.
guys
She's wearing that purple
talk
and
this
black too.
out.
Listen,
Yes, she is. She
she wearing
being a
her colors.
raven.
She wearing her
I
colors.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us what you're trying to do, ma'am. So James can answer your questions because I can't
Yeah.
answer no questions.
And does that
Thank you.
use case that I just mentioned, does that answer your question or is that something different?
It's something different. What
Okay.
made me ask the question, or what made the question come to mind, Florence was mentioning that when she was doing her 21-day trial through Capshow, she decided, or she learned that maybe a good idea would be to try, and I'm using my words, optimization on the front end as opposed to after the content has already been created. So let's say she had an idea, she would maybe plug that idea into whatever tool she was using before she recorded, before she went live, to kind of give
I
her
got it.
some direction before the content was created. Like, I have an idea to create a
Yeah.
content about XYZ topic. Let me plug that in Chat GPT or whatever AI tool. That tool then would say, that's a good starting point, maybe, and then give her additional ideas. So then she could incorporate
Yeah.
those ideas in her script prior to recording. My
Got it.
question was based on that. I met with Ibrahim earlier this week, and that was one of the things that I mentioned because I am trying Taja. And I said, I would like to know if, because of the type of content I create, would it be possible to optimize before I do a live stream so that I can get the catchy titles, so I can get the keywords? Because if I post my thumbnail 2 days before, if I've got this catchy title and you're a
Yeah.
Ravens fan, you're scrolling through and you say, oh, that sounds like it's going to be a really good live stream. Let me make sure I have my post notifications on.
I got it. Yeah. So I don't know what he told you, but I'll tell you what I think he may have told you. And I don't know if that's in the roadmap. I think he may have taken that feedback,
No NDA out here now. No NDA out here.
right, but because that's slightly outside of, and again, third person looking in, I think that's slightly outside of scope of what they're looking to offer. I think they want to offer after again the thing is done, how to make it better, how to make it
Yeah.
more a virality score, a captivative type of score, things of that nature, right? But you're really talking about prompt engineering, which is a different
Mm,
phrase that comes out of
Yes.
this generative AI mindset now. Being able to actually script, write, design, develop prompts, and actually be more responsive to what it is that you want to do. So instead of just draw me a picture of a Ravens logo and a football player carrying the ball, be very specific about what it is you want to create, expand on it, be more elaborate, change the tone, do all of those things, optimize your script ahead of time. Right?
yes.
Got you.
So I do some of that. I do some of
So,
that, and I know you
okay, so
do.
so
I
there's a
you
whole new conversation. That's a great
right.
conversation. That
That's what
So
I was
I
looking for.
yeah, I will take my general idea and I will sometimes run through I'll start with give me some good titles. And
mhm,
sometimes I'll go through 30, 50 titles. Don't like any of them, but I like this word from this one and this word from this one and this word from this one. I don't like this word, but it's close and I'm going to change that and I come up with my title.
mm,
Right. Yeah.
Then I say, okay, what do I want to ensure the um, audience gains from this conversation? Because I'm
Mm,
really want to make sure that it makes something, even though I can talk about what I experience, I still want to give something so that the community walks away with something that's usable for, in this case, in your case. So I will then do the same thing. I'll go through, write my own description, run it through, pick one. I tend to use voila. I can't talk today a lot, only because of my whole scenario and it's easy for me to get to. I don't use Chat GPT that much. I know people love it and it's awesome. I just personally don't use it. I'm kind of bind or put a few
why?
more boundaries.
You've got voila. Why?
Yeah, huh?
Right? Why? You got voila. Why? Because
Right.
voila just came out with image generation
It
this
did
week,
this
and
week.
that was there's one missing thing that they need. And I talked to a lot of people, and I told them that they need synchronization between mobile, desktop, and web.
Hmm.
Stay tuned if you
mm,
have voila, because that's
I
the one
do.
thing that they're missing. That's
Yeah,
so
I do.
okay.
So then the other thing, but even before you get there, Yolanda, um, TubeBuddy is actually how I started. When I initially
Mm,
started, I
mm,
started using TubeBuddy. I still
okay.
use it a bit,
yeah,
um, not probably as much as I could. Like if I spent more time with it, I'd be much better and get better results. But I do use it to see what are the top um, videos that it's recognizing on a particular topic, who those people are, especially in the niche that I'm in, is productivity niche because there's lots of facets to it. Um, but a lot of it is just me saying I have my own experience. Now
yeah,
I'm going to balance this against what is my experience. It
Yeah.
doesn't, to me, doesn't work as well if you don't have your own like you have your experience. You did a whole series teaching people about football. And if you can get somebody like me to understand that there's something called a O line and a D line and a whoever line, you did your job because I clueless. When
mm,
they say clueless in Seattle, I'm clueless in Seattle and Miami and everywhere else when it comes to football. So, but if you've got me interested so I understand enough. So you know your topic, you have your experience. You're now bouncing that just to not have to take so much time to pull it together.
Right.
yeah.
Right. So I
Oh,
can do it very quickly.
yeah,
Doesn't take me hours of sitting there scratching and writing, list and I just put it in, get the ideas, and I do a bunch. And then I curate what makes sense to me. Then I'll get a description based on what I initially wrote. I refine that. And then, now this is what I do. James, you may do something different. When it comes to me outlining my topic, I have a general outline that I've put down very short. I don't do long. very short, 3, 4, 5 bullets. Then I run that through a prompt and say, give me a video outline or give me, this is going to sound weird, give me a blog post outline. And I found for me, the blog post outline is more useful than the video outline because I want the detailed explanations. I'm not going to write a blog post from it. I want the idea to be fleshed out to see if it jives with what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
That's
So
exactly what I was hoping to gain. But Ataja might not be the
yeah,
AI
Taj
tool
is
for
not going to be
that.
the one.
For this, it's not Taja, it's not going to be it.
That makes
But
sense.
I'll expand on that a little bit because again, back to this concept of prompt engineering and while you were talking, you literally looked up the definition out there of what prompt engineering, according to Amazon Web Services, and it is the process where you guide generative AI solutions to generate desired outputs, right?
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly what you're trying to do, and that's exactly what we do. The challenge is what Florence just said was her prompt right there. I would add the forward sentence or the forward statement, act as a social media strategist or
Right.
act as a technology consultant.
Yeah.
So that piece right there, no one has kind of put together a framework or a workbook or a cheat sheet or something to say these are the types of prompts to get much more specific and much more granular about the information that we're trying to do. Maybe this could be an opportunity for the three of us to
We
co-write
can
a book on
workshop
prompt
something.
engineering.
Yeah.
Right.
We
But
can
that
workshop
piece right
something.
there of being much more specific and niched down about who
Yes.
it is that you are and who you're trying to reach and what the output is. Because if you just say write a blog post on this particular topic, it'll do that. And
Yeah.
it'll look like 80% of all the other ones that a Claude or a OpenAI or Perplexity or whomever will spit out. But if you say act like a act like a new fan to football who knows nothing about the rules and explain the new punt return rules or the new kickoff rule. Right. So
Hmm.
right. Be very specific in terms of the message that you're feeding to the large language model. Then what you get spit out will be that foundation, will be that framework, and then you can build off of that. That piece though, again, right there, being real specific about who you are and who you're trying to reach. That's the part that not a lot of folks who are writing prompts talk about, the prompt engineering piece.
Right. So let me just say this. The other side of that, Yolanda, that I use, um, I have a tool called Super Copy. And in Super Copy, I've built 5 personas that represent the audience I want to speak to. And when I write my prompt, I use one of those, and sometimes more than one, those personas, because it's described who they are, what their background is, what their pain points are, what they're interested in. Um, they each have a name. So I use those as part of that prompt. A prompt is just a set of instructions or a question you're asking. People make it sound
Mhm.
like it's some, unless you're just doing a, um, it can get, let me say this, it can get very complicated if you're doing serious flow design for an enterprise backend system. That's not what we're talking about. I work with those huge flow charts of how the stuff is supposed to work for a particular problem that you're solving. But for us, those personas, who are the people?
Mhm.
Woman, don't know nothing about football, trying to learn, um, married and whatever. It doesn't, like, whatever your audience whatever those personas are for you. And I use them over and over and over again
Yeah, super copy that
because,
AI looks like it could be it.
so yeah. And so you can also do brand personas in there and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Mhm.
So I use that and I feed that into a part of my prompt. So if you, I'll talk to you offline because I'm not gonna say that on camera.
Oh Lord, see, you about to call somebody something.
No, 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 no. This it'll be it's a lounge thing. I'll just put it there.
Mm.
She understands.
Oh, little premium content, y'all. Hey, hey,
Um,
Frank, put the link out to the lounge and people to join. Come on, I'm out here selling services. Y'all want
um,
that premium content?
so you can get what you want. And a lot of times, these prompts I'm starting with, like I said, I'll just pick up my phone or my iPad or whatever and record my thoughts. I'll just, talk into whatever because I'm don't feel like sitting at the computer or I'm, sitting someplace with my foot up on an ottoman, drinking something,
Hmm.
usually lemonade.
Well,
Um, and I'm just like ideas are rolling, and I'll record them and then
Mhm.
I'll use a transcription tool, like I said, to get it out, and then I'll just really, it's literally just throwing into the the tool and letting it spit out something. Then I can just tweak it and work with it and say, yeah, I like that. No, I don't. That's not really me. I would never say it that way. I'll say it this way. Put me in it, as James said earlier. Hopefully, we've given you some useful information.
Incredibly valuable, helpful information. Thank you both. I have
And
taken way too much time
no,
from
no,
the
no.
show.
I
Thank you.
appreciate this is what I want to do. I want to be supportive and serve those who give me part of their time. You can't get this back. So to me, I don't take it for granted. You've taken time from your family to be here with
mm.
us. James has taken time from his family to be here with us. I don't take that for granted. So it's precious for me personally. So
see, Yolanda not gonna be available tomorrow morning though. She got game tomorrow morning. You play
okay,
you and
she
them
got it.
Packers. Yeah, you and them Packers, right? I believe, right? I think I know my
Yep,
Yep,
schedule now.
yep,
you are
yep,
right.
yep.
And the
I
only
You
and
reason
I
are.
I
have
know is because my Steelers play but at the same time. That's the only
oh
reason
my goodness, y'all about to fight. We got Steelers and Ravens and New York Giants in here.
I I'm sorry. See,
Love it. I
He
love it.
cannot. He can't
I
see.
apologize.
You're gonna have fun if you hang out with James Hicks.
I
You're gonna get. You're
apologize.
gonna learn, and you get knowledgeable. Hey, gang! If for those who are in chat, this is what we do. This I want the community to be a real community where we're not talking at each other. We're talking with each other, and we're supporting each other. That is so critical. Because why bother giving somebody your time if it's not going to be beneficial and you don't get a return on that investment of time?
That's
Why
true.
would you do?
Absolutely.
Why would you do that? So,
Right.
You at a loss of
Okay,
absolutely.
words
thank
now.
you.
See, now
I'm
y'all at
going
a
to
loss for
say
words.
goodnight.
All right.
I'm going to say goodnight and return to the chat and continue with listening to this great
London,
stream as
oh,
you all
see, oh,
pour into not just myself, but everybody else who's listening and has questions about AI.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank
Okay,
you for coming on and expounding. We'll keep this
you're
party
welcome.
going. Glad to have you
appreciate you, my
here
friend.
for your first time. Whoa,
Yeah,
woohoo.
go
Yay.
Mm.
Raven.
She threw with me though. And listen, see that?
All right. I'm going to let you
You
go
good?
back to chat and you probably got some, your family is like, "Could you please pay attention to us?" So that was great, James. I love that we can get the community in to ask questions
Yeah.
and we can talk through it and really dig into what the question is and get some real
And
answers
get
out there.
specific, right? Again, and without having to
Yeah.
have any assumptions. Because if I called him and asked him about what I thought, it would have been slightly off target. But now we got a specific statement about prompt engineering, where that matters, where that resonates, and then again, so that particular platform is not the platform to go with. I thought it was interesting that you mentioned TubeBuddy because
Mhm.
TubeBuddy does what it does well, and it's phenomenal at that. I just they're in my opinion, they're slightly behind the curve on prompt engineering, especially AI
Oh,
prompt
definitely.
engineering for
Oh, definitely.
creators when you
Definitely.
compare them to vidIQ. Now,
Mhm.
and again, because I always like to have multiple suggestions for prospects and for people when they ask to have them take a look at. Now, if you look at what vidIQ, you're gonna again, you get what you pay for, because there
Mhm.
is a slightly steeper entrant for vidIQ, but man, you can do that front loaded engineering of a topic, of a description, of a title in
Mhm.
vidIQ, and it'll point you to other videos within that same niche, within that same demographic that have succeeded, and it'll give you the tags, the hashtags, the links, and all that stuff, and even
Mhm.
give you a high level script to start from. So, I mean, they're all continuing to iterate. They're all continuing to do well in terms of bringing that value. But I
Mhm.
just know that specifically for that use case, I've seen a better result from
With vidIQ.
vidIQ. Yeah.
Okay. And because I don't necessarily use TubeBuddy specifically in that way, I hadn't really given it much thought.
Hmm.
Um, this, I'm learning too, right? You sharpen your axe. Iron sharpens iron. So
That's it.
you get
It's good
sharper and
stuff.
clearer on what you can do. I have figured out these workflows. And so if I just said mine, I start with I just have an idea. I have every month my main topic already mapped out for the entire calendar year. So month to month, I know I may switch them around, but I know what they are
Yeah.
generally. And then I start drilling down. What do I want? And I have had to grow to what are the questions I want to answer this month with respect to this topic.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Now I'm
And
right. So
I was
you
gonna say, and
got to know where
listening
you're
to
going.
your lounge and your community, and that, right? You may be headed down one trajectory, and then get something out of left field from your community who says no, but that's all good and that's fine, but we want you to talk about this,
Hmm.
and you better make that switch and talk about what the community wants instead of being in your own way and trying to be selfish, because the
Hmm.
community is what really is driving this.
Right. Yes. And listening to the community, whether they are texting me or emailing me or coming in the lounge or, leaving comments on videos, take it all in. Calling me, having a conversation. I'm super fortunate. Many of the people in the community today are people that I have direct connection with off platform. And
Hmm.
so I listen to them intentionally and intently to make sure that it I'm bringing value. I had someone leave a comment when I started this month, and they said for that I do a little intro. My very first here's what we're going to talk about. Here's some
Hmm.
education about it, and the person wrote back and said, "I now understand generative AI, and I'm telling all of my baby boomer friends and family about this video because you made it clear for me." That was strong to hear because I want to make it clear,
Reach one, teach one. There you go.
you know? Exactly. So then I walk through this process. So however I do it, whether I'm drafting it, whether voice record, and then I take the combination of the personas that I want to apply it against, and I have some core prompts that I use, so I just reuse the core of it and change the topic, and I've worked those out doing it for a while. And that's really my process. So I can get through it pretty quickly. Um, and it doesn't hurt that I have to use Gen AI every day
No,
professionally.
that probably makes you more in tune with your message, right? Because you're you know what you want to say, you know who you want to reach, but you're leveraging technology. This is back to how we started, right?
How we
You're
started
leveraging
leveraging
technology,
technology, get out your own way.
Right. I mean, it's almost like that was planned. But again,
But it
not being
wasn't.
afraid to leverage this technology to make sure that the messages that you're putting out to the folks in the lounge, the folks in your community, the folks that engage with you are getting that value.
Mm-hmm.
Being real intentional, not just throwing it against the wall, but making sure that it resonates.
Right. So tonight, if we could help Yolanda be that much more
Mm,
streamlined, a little bit more streamlined in solving a very specific, direct problem in her content creation, then we've achieved the goal. Because Yolanda, she's one, but she represents many, right? The topic in her case is Ravens football, but the topic could be something else. It could be music, it could be um, cooking, it can be gardening, it can be a lot of things.
yeah.
Whatever your topic is, but you're going to still run through this process and have some workflows in creating it, whether you're doing video, which I think video first, or whether you're doing purely written content, blogs, newsletters, and other things. Whether you're doing, frankly, you are doing speeches. Last week, the Toastmasters organization selected their number one choice for the world, whatever you call it, world speaker, best speaker in the world. My
Mm,
brain went to sleep. This person I know from direct access not only had to write a bunch of speeches, but had to compete against thousands of people and be very intentional about every word, every move, everything that went into it to get to that place, to get to that on that stage and to be able to win that award and that recognition and that placement. That's content. That's content.
yeah.
And what we're talking about, what you are sharing today, what we've talked about, can help that person as well. They don't, the video is out in the wild now because they record them and put them out. She wasn't doing the recording, but sometimes your video, you're not the one doing the production piece. You're doing delivering the
Mm,
message, and
hmm.
someone else is doing all of the others. You still have to work through getting your message together. That's my thought. You can,
Yeah.
share. And I do want to make sure people know how to reach you. So tell us, because we've been going about an hour and I don't want to wear on you, but I'll stay here with you. Um,
Listen, I'm still slightly 35,000 foot in the air. I just landed late last night, but it's all good. HicksNewMedia.com is the default landing page for all things me from a business perspective, from a creator perspective, and that tails off into all my other digital properties. So yeah, if you go to hicksnewmedia.com, that'll take you to my various social profiles. It'll take you to the merch shop. It'll take you to an ability to book some time on my calendar so we can talk about helping you with your digital content strategy, with your entrepreneurship journey, with understanding some of these pieces of technology and things of that. So yeah, I appreciate this opportunity.
well, I, I could ask you a whole bunch of questions. I am curious. Have you started using any of the generative AI in Adobe Express?
Kinda, sorta, yeah. Not lately. I was an
Okay.
early beta tester with
Okay.
Adobe Express, and
Okay.
it was missing a lot. It really
Okay.
was. When I started looking at, man, I was like, man, Canva does this and it's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
Simplified does this and it's so simple. And
Mm-hmm.
then Adobe Express, but again, Adobe is Adobe, so you got to pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
And Adobe is relevant because you got Adobe fonts, you got all of you got the Lightroom integration, you got photo. Long answer short, no, because I have these other tools that do the thing slightly better. I do still have my Creative Cloud subscription, so Adobe don't need my money, but they're getting my money, so I better start taking advantage of these subscriptions. This particular subscription that I have, uh, maybe I'll cut up some of the content from this session and use Spark and Express for that. But no, I and some of the generative types of fill types of things that they do, right, where I can create thumbnails and put a prompt in and have it do the whole look and feel. I haven't used them. I use other tools for that.
Okay. Are there any other tools that you think that you would like to share with folks to check out and learn more about that uh, will serve them well in their content creation, regardless of what that content creation is, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be one thing. Um, content
In
is
the
content.
Yeah, well, especially so within the AI space, I would implore folks to challenge themselves to not just look at the ones that are making the most noise. So again, we talked
Mm,
about Opus, we talked about um, a couple of others out there, but look at the Chappatis of the world. Look at maybe Kapoing. Kapoing is they've been around for a minute. They're based here in Northern California in San Francisco. They do some things pretty neat and pretty cool as well. Take a look at them. Um, I mentioned Simplified just now, kind of in passing. They
mm-hmm.
are an alternative to Canva. They are an alternative to Adobe Express. Take a look at them. I've mentioned a lot of generative AI platforms. ChatGPT is winning because they're the clinics of tissue. Everyone knows them because of all the times they're in the news. But Perplexity that AI is great. Claude is great. Voila is amazing, and they continue to evolve and iterate. So, I mean, those are platforms right there. You mentioned about Otter,
Mm-hmm.
and there's another platform that I really like and I really use and really start recommending and advocating for. And it's called VideoTap.
Okay.
So, VideoTap is what is VideoTap? VideoTap is kind of audio, video, text creation and sharing. So
Okay.
you can take these videos that we're doing right now. It'll cut it up. It'll do the Taja thing, but it will also write the blog post.
Okay.
It will also send out email to your email distribution list. It'll also translate it into other languages. Don't just think about your local 707-916-702 area code.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Again, we're trying to be global here. So
We're
it
global.
does all
Mm-hmm.
it does that translation piece. It creates the audio and the video podcast as well. So Video Tap, and then it's videotap.com will do those things.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a alternate to a Descript, to a Jasper, a Jasper, or
I
even
never
an
used
Otter that AI.
Jasper.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never used Jasper. I do use Word Hero. They got that one. They need to work on that baby.
Word Hero's been around for a minute. They just haven't,
They
again, they
haven't
haven't done
evolved
anything new.
enough.
They
They
haven't
haven't
done
evolved
anything new.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I have it, so I keep hoping. Keep hope alive, as somebody
Um,
we know says.
yeah, there it is. There it is. Substack is invaluable for me. Goodness gracious, that's my newsletter platform of choice. There's
Mm-hmm.
Beehive is out there. There's a whole bunch of others out there as well, but Substack just is really AI focused and AI centric, right? I
Mm-hmm.
can actually bring in images. I can bring in videos. I can uh, easily create short form content about a particular post, a newsletter post that I've created, and push that out to all of my social platforms. So Substack is really locked, and Substack is free.
Mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
so
Yep.
the price is
Yep.
right, but again, take a look at them. So yeah, I would say if I was going to give any recommendations to take a look at for varying things, I would say the Video Tap, I would say Substack, and I would say let me just take a look at my top. I mentioned Scenery that video. Maybe those three. So Scenery that video for cutting up content, specifically video content, and distributing that.
Mhm.
That scenery, that video is an alternate to Premiere, Final Cut Pro, CapCut, things of that.
Isn't that the one that Ecamm partnered with, or is that a different
Yes.
one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Scenery. So you can actually extract these live streams either to Descript or to Scenery. And
Mhm.
that's what I do. So as soon as I'm done streaming, boom, I hit create with AI. It goes to Scenery, and I have my full video, my hour long, whatever that is, and I have my Club Shay Shay 5 or 10 minute segment as well, right? Because that's what Shannon's
I'm
doing.
not I'm
Co- Please tell me you know about Club. Oh my lord, Frank.
no, I
Frank,
do know
come
about it.
on
That's
now.
why I'm
Oh,
looking like this. Mm,
so
okay.
what I'm saying, but that's really been part of the key to his success. Yeah, he's
Mhm.
got these long 1, 2, 3 hour long videos with the Cat Williamses and whomever else's, but you get that summary or those top moments from those sessions, 5, 10,
Mhm.
15 minutes.
Mhm.
And that's what you put out either on another channel or you call it clips and highlights for a playlist on your channel. And then that's where you start really getting that engagement. Because again, our attention span is not going to be for a 2 3 minute, a 2 or 3 hour session
Right.
all the time. But
Right.
I will watch a 5, 10, 15 minute
Mhm.
summary of the top highlights of a particular stream.
Mhm.
And that I've seen from my channel, I've seen kind of a hockey stick uh,
Okay.
from an engagement perspective. Just doing that, just doing the clips and
Okay.
highlights, putting a long form into a clips and highlights playlist that's 5, 10, 15 minutes in length.
Mhm.
Scenery video is the truth for that. I'm putting y'all on game. Man, where my theme music at? Y'all, I'm putting y'all on game. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, gang. No one else asked a question. I want to say thank you to those who have been here with us live today. I also want to say thank you to the replay. Those who are watching on replay, you are valuable. Go ahead, leave a comment on the video, ask a question. Please ask a question because I may send it to this gentleman that's right here next to me and say, I need an answer. So record an answer and we're gonna throw it up on the channel. Just saying. Just a suggestion. An idea.
Anytime,
Uh
anytime.
and and come back, James Hicks. You're one of that the original tribe. So I'm looking forward. I'm already working on February, sir.
Awesome, awesome.
I'm already working on February.
I apologize that I'm always like out of state, out of town, out of country, or wherever when you have your sessions on the weekend. But
That's
I think in a
okay.
couple of weeks I'll be back and I'll be down in one centralized location where I can join live for the lounge session. So
Awesome. Awesome. We look forward to it. As you know, it's my tradition. I like you to take us out of here. So I'm going to turn the stage over to you for you to share whatever insight you have for the community, and then we're going to go home.
I'm gonna say, listen, we talk about a lot of things. A lot of times we let this technology world get into in our own way. There are so many folks who have stories to tell. They have communities that they want to reach. They have hobbies. They have interests. They have clubs. They have whatever the case may be, and they get bogged down in the minutia of worrying about cameras, lights, computers, audio, microphones. You get bogged down into wanting and trying to be perfect and wanting to try to have the best. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with pushing and wanting to make sure that the production, the direction, the output is as best it can be. But as you're trying to build up to that, still go out there and do the thing. People are waiting and wanting to hear you speak that message. I'm specifically talking to the digital content creators and the wannabe digital content creators and the storytellers, the folks who have communities that they want to reach out to. Use what you got. 10 out of 10 of y'all have this $1,000 device in your pocket that shoots 4K 60 right out of the gate. Use this, right? So get out of our own way, take advantage of the technology, get out there and share your story, and don't be intimidated by asking for assistance. No one who has been in this game for any extended period of time got there alone. There is no crab in a barrel situation around this community, what Florence is building. Reach out, ask the questions. Folks will legitimately and honestly be willing to help you succeed. Because when you succeed, we succeed. And then you can tell someone else, and then it just blossoms out to everyone else. We're just trying to do good things. So, again, with that, I'm just going to say thank you again for this time. Love this community. This is some cool folks out here. And hopefully, I didn't embarrass myself too much and say something that's going to get me pulled off the channel.
Well, everybody, we are saying good night to you, and I am glad that you came tonight. We had a phenomenal speaker tonight. He gave you some gold. Watch the video that's going to be right here because we're still talking AI for the rest of the month. Come back and join us.